Welcome, everyone, back to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And today we're going to keep talking waiver wire. We're looking at, we're going to be talking about guys that they still haven't maybe broke out. We're still waiting, but I think it's going to happen. And I want these names to stay on people's radar. So that's what we've been doing this year. And in reality, the actual waiver wire, I'll throw out the actual guys for this week that are like the big waiver wire guys. It's not that pretty. And this is why we talked about earlier in the year. You usually spend your money early. Spend it, go big early, because this is what starts happening. The names just aren't great anymore. So I'll throw some out here real quick before I get into some guys I really like. Some guys like Roschon Johnson is going to be at the top of the list because of Khalil Herbert's probably out a few weeks. Looks like high ankle sprain. Johnson himself, believe was in the concussion protocol. So if he can't go, it's Deontay Foreman. So this is like if you're really in a bind, you need a player. Roschon Johnson, though, this could be his chance, right? Rookie, maybe. So
yeah, he's definitely worth the upside pick.
So we'll see if he's healthy. The other one, Jeff Wilson. And this is because he's off. He's going to get off IR probably this week. He's back. He's healthy. But Devin Achane is now out for a bit. So the guy has been ridiculously good. Achane's averaging like 12 yards per carry. It's insane. But here's the knock, and this is why people were worried. A little guy, can you stay healthy? And after 38 carries in his career, he's already hurt. So Jeff Wilson comes back. I've liked Jeff Wilson. He should get a shot. Mostert's there, so it's interesting. But then again, it's still Mostert's there. Ahmed's there. Wilson could get a role, but how's it all going to play out? It's just, I like him, but is there a real opportunity? I mean, there's carries, but it's a committee. So
yeah, but on that high powered of an offense,
it's interesting
when you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, if you will. Yep. I do think that is probably worth the flyer.
Yep, I'm with you. And then another name, throw out Amari DeMarcado from the Arizona Cardinals. James Conner's out now for probably at least 4 weeks as well. A lot of injuries all of a sudden. So James Conner's out. DeMarcado played decent. I think it was like 10 carries, 45 yards, a touchdown. It was okay. Part of it is Keontae Ingram was hurt and still is hurt. So we think DeMarcado should have the opportunity this coming week. He's an undrafted guy too, I think. Not really, maybe. If you're really desperate, right? I don't think there's a lot there. I don't expect this guy to be some kind of major fantasy star, but if you're in a bind, there's bye week. There's only a couple buys this week, but if injuries or buys, throw him. All right, so there's some names. I did want to throw out this one because the percentage came down. Zach Charbonnet is down below 40%. Can't you see a scenario where his carries uptick throughout the rest of this year?
Yeah, I was actually just looking to double check what he's been able to do. And, he's not one that I'm going to lose sight of because I do think that with injuries and everything else going on, the season's long and some rookies don't get going right away.
Yeah.
I think he's been good enough to keep an eye on.
Yep, I think so. If he's out there at waiver wire in your league and you have a bench spot and you're not necessarily needing a guy to actually play right away, that's a guy you'd stash on your bench for sure. Another one is still Tyjae Spears. I say this every week and I'm going to keep bringing it up. He's still on 25% owned. He outscored Derrick Henry this past week in fantasy. He's playing and he's doing well. Can you imagine, like I've said this every week, if Derrick Henry goes down, Spears is going to be one of those guys that is going to spend all your waiver wire money on, right? Spend all your fab on this guy. And he's still out there in 20. He's only owned in 25% of leagues. Man, you need Spears, especially if you're Derrick Henry owner. There's 75% of leagues out there where the guy who owns Derrick Henry does not have Spears. I don't understand it. You're really, taking a big chance there.
Yeah, I agree. And we have talked about it over the past how many weeks now, but I think that is it's a foolish move not to have him on. If you put that much draft capital into Henry, and he is good, and I kind of want him. If someone doesn't have him in your league, I would pick him up anyway. Like if you have any, I know it's difficult right now with injuries and everything going on, but if you do have a bench spot, I feel like he is the winning lottery ticket. And on top of that, if Henry goes down for even if he's only going to be out for a couple of weeks or whatever, that is a very good trade piece that you can go to the guy with Henry or whatever and make an offer that way too.
100%. I think that's one that needs to be rostered. New name I'm going to throw out here that we haven't talked about before. It's pretty unknown because he's an undrafted guy, but I'm interested in him, is Keaton Mitchell from the Baltimore Ravens. Part of the reason is he flashed in the preseason, looked pretty good, then he went on IR. He's a small guy as well, small, speedy guy. But the main reason for me, the Ravens' backfield's a mess. Edwards isn't doing it. Hill's not doing it. They still have Melvin Gordon. He's not going to do it. Keaton Mitchell, if he's active this week, it's interesting. It's just interesting to me that you have a guy who flashed, has speed, and is going to be activated on a backfield that is really struggling to do anything. Maybe they're like, hey, let's see what we got here. So I have him stashed on a couple of my teams now. It's one of those where, hey, nobody knows. None of us know. I don't know. I'm just saying, hey, it's a speedy guy who looked pretty decent in preseason. He ran for over 3,000 yards in college. Went to East Carolina, so small school. But I'm interested because I think it's because it's so unknown. That's where I love it. So, if you have a spot, throw him on there. I have him in our main league, Jeff. So wait till he blows up here next week, and I'll be able to told you so. Keaton Mitchell. So I know a lot of you probably have never even heard of that name until right now. But Keaton Mitchell, I'm interested. Those are the running backs I have. I don't know if you had any other running backs.
No, I don't.
Yeah, those are the guys I like. Obviously, Spears and like Charbonnet for sure. Like stash those guys. I mean, if you can only get one, don't probably get Mitchell over Spears, but like, get them. Wide receivers, same old names for me. This is what happens, I think, early on, is some of these rookies, they show signs that they can be good, but they don't really like completely break out, and it takes a while, but it happens at some point. Like Marvin Mims, that offense isn't doing anything. They got to switch something up. Denver has to switch it up. Mims could be the best receiver on that team. Judy's not doing much. Sutton's not doing much. Why not give the rookie a chance? When he's actually been given opportunities, he looks really good. He's just not getting opportunities lately. And I don't get it.
Yeah. And I know he had a rough game.
Yeah.
Don't hold that against him.
No, and that's where I don't understand. Only one catch, 4 yards, but when he's been given the opportunity, he's looked really good. And it just, I don't know what it is. Sean Payton, it's weird. It's a weird situation there in Denver right now. I just don't get it. But Mims, 10 catches for 246 yards on the year, averaging 24 yards per catch. I mean, come on, get this guy the ball a little bit more. Other names, still Jaden Reed. Again, didn't do much this past game, but I still think he's interesting. Michael Wilson was the hyped up guy last week, and hey, he didn't do anything. Kind of like that's why we weren't like going crazy about him. But this is actually where I like him better. I like him after the hype. Like when everyone's like, oh, this guy's nothing. But no, wait, you know what? He's not what he was probably 2 weeks ago, but he's also not what he was last week. He's probably in the in-between. Maybe there's something there. Rashee Rice, though, I think is one that actually could emerge because the Chiefs, who's doing anything at wide receiver? Nobody. No one's doing anything at receiver for the Chiefs. Rashee Rice has been pretty involved actually lately with limited snaps. If they start getting him more snaps, he could really have a breakout second half. So Rashee Rice, Josh Downs had a big game.
Yeah.
What was it? 6 catches?
6 catches.
90 some yards.
Yep. I mean, he's looking good.
He is.
He's one of those that, I like him. I do think there's a ceiling on it probably in that offense, and he's not going to be a huge touchdown guy, but he's for real. And if you play PPR, which not my favorite, but that adds to it. But I'm just glad he's a rookie that is catching on very quickly. And who knows, maybe he will figure out maybe they'll use him more in the red zone or something like that. Well, that could change now that they get more confidence in him.
Well, now Anthony Richardson's hurt. I have so many injuries. So You got Gardner Minshew. I don't really think you're going to have much of a downgrade with.
Not passing wise.
No, I mean obviously he's not the player that Richardson had the opportunity to be, but I think it could work for sure. Then let's see. I'll throw out. Don't really have many other names. Okay, because you said PPR. I'll just throw out Wan'Dale Robinson, only because the catches are there, but it was 5 catches for 18 yards. So,
oh god, that's why I hate PPR. Can you imagine playing against that and you're like, you gotta be shitting me?
5 catches for 18 yards. So you got a few, and then those are like rookies, might have more potential, all this stuff. Josh Reynolds is still available in quite a few leagues. Josh Reynolds is 24% owned. He is wide receiver 18 in standard. And that's with a 0 catch game.
Mm-hmm.
It's not pretty. It's not like you're not excited about it. But if you just had injuries, if Jefferson's hurt for you, whatever. I mean, he's been playing really well.
Yeah, he is playing really well. And no matter how you split it, I know Laporta is doing well. Jameson Williams is coming back. Yeah. Amon-Ra has been banged up. But the Lions offense is looking very, very good right now. Yeah. They are playing well enough to support everyone. So I think that he is a guy that you can grab and use, especially with all the injuries, all the bye weeks. I still think he's a very viable option. He is definitely, I would probably grab him to play the next couple of weeks more than these other guys I'm stashing.
100%. If the other guys we talked about are stash guys, you're going to pull them on your bench. You're not expecting to use them. You're hoping they break out. If you need a guy right now, I don't think there's a better option than Josh Reynolds. And again, there's no guarantee. He had a 0 catch game, but he's wide receiver 18. That's pretty solid for what we've been seeing. And then I'm going to throw out a tight end because he's only 8% owned, and tight end sucks. Mm-hmm. The position's terrible. Logan Thomas, he's tight end number 8 on the year. Yeah. He's the 8th tight end. Yeah. And his numbers aren't even that great, but he's the 8th tight end.
I was going to say I laughed because he's not good. I mean, his numbers haven't been great, but I picked him up when he got hurt because I was like, yeah, might as well. Yeah, I mean, tight end, I say it week in and week out, but it's a wasteland. It is. You got to just go where touchdowns are possible. And Thomas is a big guy that has had flashes where he does well in stretches. So
I mean, I've looked at the tight end thing, and I don't know who else you even take a chance on. Do you just, like, if you're really desperate and you need something, you just go, I don't know, we'll get Luke Musgrave from the Packers and hope he breaks out or something, the rookie. Like, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
There's nobody. Logan Thomas is at least probably, I don't know. I can't even say he's good for anything. To be honest, he could just go 2 for 20. And that's about all he does. But that position's ugly. Hopefully you got Laporta like I did. And then you're feeling really good. But got any more names? Other than it's kind of a weak waiver wire week. It's just ones that you're stashing a lot of guys.
Yeah, I mean,
hoping for some things.
If Jameson Williams went through the roof, it was 23% since last week when we heard the suspension was up. If you grabbed him before, great. He hasn't done anything in the first week. He's owned in 39% of leagues, so he might still be out there. I would highly recommend picking up him if your league is behind. And then, did we mention KJ Osborne?
No, of course we missed KJ Osborne. There you go. This is definitely a right now type move.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, KJ Osborne. He's ahead of Josh Reynolds if you want a guy to play right now. With Justin Jefferson missing at least 4 weeks, KJ Osborne will be there. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Does he get? He's done well in the past, so Addison should do something. Hawkinson might pick up catches. Who knows? But KJ Osborne for sure if you need a pickup for this week. But I don't know. Some of those other guys stash. I still think there's some potential there. Some of a couple of those guys are going to break out. Just not sure who yet. That's why you just take some dart throws and hopefully it works out for you. So that's about all I have.
And then the last one we will bring up, because you talked about tight ends and it is a wasteland.
Yes.
Right before this, we were talking about my team, and Dulcich is coming off the IR.
Yes.
I hyped him up in the preseason and he got hurt, but I still think if you're desperate, you grab him now and then let's wait and find out what he is. So
part of like what he said about the Broncos, like it's not happening with what they're doing now.
Right.
They're gonna have to switch something up, you would think, and maybe Dulcich does it. It's not working right now. So if he comes back, he definitely has some potential there. So, hey, you very well could just be very desperate. So
yeah,
you can take a chance. But all right, that'll do it for this one. Talk to you guys next time.